Hi, I'm Jacqueline Stewart. Welcome back to Silent Sunday Nights. I'm back again at the University of Chicago. But for our silent feature this week, we're headed to South America for a landmark film that marks the first and only movie from Brazilian filmmaker Mario Peixoto. And it's all the more remarkable because he was only 22 years old when it was released. From 1931, it's Limite. It's a surrealistic tale of two women and a man who are lost at sea. And we come to learn through flashback how each of them got to this point. With very few intertitles, abstract images and close-ups are mixed with geometric shots of the landscape and surroundings to create a uniquely artistic visual experience. Peixoto got the idea for the film during a trip to France. He became transfixed by the cover of a magazine showing a woman with a man's hands in handcuffs wrapped around her neck. Peixoto was so inspired by it that same evening he wrote a rough outline for a potential film. Upon his return to Brazil, he showed it to two notable filmmakers, but both passed on the project. Peixoto's enthusiasm for it was palpable, though, so he was encouraged to make the movie himself. Because of his lack of experience, he was recommended a talented veteran cameraman named Edgar Brazil to help him achieve his vision. The two men collaborated to develop equipment to smoothly handle the innovative movements of the camera. For example, during a scene on the beach, they created something of a forerunner to today's Steadicam. A camera was placed atop a device, and the crew members who carried it stayed in lockstep with the actors performing the scene beside them. It puts the viewer right on the beach with the characters and is one example of how, in many ways, Peixoto was a filmmaker ahead of his time. As for the magazine image that inspired the project, you'll see it recreated in the opening scene of the film. Here's a movie that was carefully restored in 2010 by Martin Scorsese's World Cinema Foundation. From 1931, written, directed, produced, and edited by Peixoto, Limite. Mario Peixoto wore many hats on Limite. He wrote, directed, produced, and edited it. He also appeared in it briefly. He was the man we see sitting in a graveyard about halfway through the film. And this film is a work of visual art that made Peixoto a legend. But incredibly, it was the only film he ever completed. Peixoto came from a wealthy family and instead decided to live out his days in relative quiet. He wrote a book of poetry, a novel, and various essays. He collected artwork. He continued to write screenplays, but none of them were ever completed. So Limite remains his one and only finished product. To this day, many consider it one of the greatest Brazilian films ever made. Up next, our focus is going to stay on international cinema, as Alicia Malone will be here for TCM Imports. But join me again next week for our Silent Sunday Night feature. I'm Jacqueline Stewart. Thanks for watching.
Next on TCM, Yo-Yo, then La Strada, and later Grand Prix. You're in pole position for more TCM tonight.